And you will find that for each of these eras or phases or whatever you want to call it, or contexts, there were certain outcomes. In the first one, basic industries were established. In the second one, vertical integration was the norm. It forced you because of import substitution. In these licensing, technology transfers began to happen. And in liberalization, when things became more competitive, then growth, cost management issues came to the fore. And finally, we are seeing globalization. The business environment has changed because also the growth that the economy has witnessed in these periods, from the so-called Hindu rate of growth of 2 to 3% to about 5.5% to high growth of 8 to 9% is where we are in today. And what this has done is, it has, if you take per capita disposable income, and I'm not talking about total income, but disposable income, it has made a great difference. Because after providing for basic necessities, whatever you get is disposable. And you will find that although your income may be going up, so to say, 10%, but your disposable income would be going up in a geometric proportion. And that is what is creating consumerism in India, because people have income to dispose. At least, I would say 35, 40% of the people have that kind of income to consume. And therefore, global players are finding India as an attractive destination in both in manufacturing and in services, as indeed you can see from this slide. And foreign direct investment has been shooting up. Again, it is now going up, but for the global meltdown that has happened, but I'm sure it will come back. The FDI will really go into many, many billions, as you'll see, and it's a phase lag with China, and surely I have no doubt in my mind that it will catch up in numbers. Exports from India, telling the same kind of story. So many, in this environment, many Indian companies are making global footprints through mergers and acquisitions. And I've just listed some. Tata Steel, Hindalco, or Tata Motors. We took over many companies like Tata Devu, Hispano Correcera in Spain, and more recently Jaguar Land Rover, and like this, so on and so forth. The whole corporate India is going out and acquiring companies. In fact, Tatas are one of the largest employers in the UK today with our various acquisitions. All these factors, of course, are creating a lot of opportunities, but also there are many challenges, because both in the Indian market, because of liberalization and globalization and lowering down of tariffs and greater awareness, there is increasing customers' sophistication. And there is a need to achieve global standards with respect to quality, product technology, process efficiencies, to match with the competition that is there in the marketplace. It calls for shorter product cycles. Even in our case, you will see that a product lasts for 20 years, 25 years, 30 years. Not anymore. You need to have cycles of, in automobile industry, if you don't have product cycles of 7 years and 6 years, you're not there. And it does tell a lot upon the way you work. However, the opportunities are tremendous. So it is really not for the weak or the meek, but it is for strong-hearted people. It is for people who will have great vision and would be able to convert that vision into reality but there is a huge opportunity which is opening up. Therefore, this calls for the context change, calls for a different kind of change in the dimensions of the business in terms of structure, systems, and culture. Again, some of these things Dr. Pitroda mentioned. So I'll just go to the 21st century, not dwell a lot on 20th century. You need less rules. You need flat structures. You don't need layers of management. Senior management is expected to lead. That means earlier senior management was expected to manage and somebody else was leading. Now senior management is to in fact do both, but put down the so-called traditional management, lower down. That means empower more people to manage and to take decisions. And like this, many things, be more outward focused, fast decision making, younger people given chance, and taking some risk. So earlier the risk used to be associated with entrepreneurs. Now, if managers don't take risk, they can't manage. So it has become inherent part of managing that you have to act like a leader and you have to act like an entrepreneur. And if you don't do, then you are finished. Why? Because life is no more predictable. The environment is no more predictable. Environment is getting riskier because there are a lot of uncertainties. Nobody had predicted global meltdown in the world. Nobody had predicted that oil will shoot $100 a barrel. These kind of things which were unheard of just suddenly happen. Now, in this kind of uncertainty, therefore, you are required to take decisions. You can't have all the facts. And even if you have all the facts, those facts change so fast, so rapidly, and therefore, you still but your requirement of decision making doesn't go away. And therefore, you have to continue to keep taking decisions, and therefore, the only way you can do it is based on the facts which are available to you, based on risks that you are willing to take, and based on predictability of the environment that you have, which you know at best is quite low. And of course, various things of customer focus and global mindset and all those things. So what it means is earlier if one person was taking the decision, it cannot be anymore. You have to now have a more collective decision making process because one person cannot think of everything. And you need to therefore collate and collaborate in your decision making process. So this is kind of the context of environment, general environment. If we come to the automobile industry, which has more or less matched the economic development, you will see what has been the growth in different phases of say protection, liberalization and globalization. So it is a kind of a geometric progression that we are seeing now in globalization. So although it is tough, it is very competitive, but it's huge, and therefore it is something which people will have to take cognizance of. Just to give some figures which you may not be able to read. In 1980-81, 13,000 three-wheelers were made. In 2007-8, that's about 25 years later, 3,65,000 were made. If 2 lakhs, just about 2 lakhs two-wheelers